Hello, everybody. We're welcoming back Ross Benjamin with our daily NCAA Basketball Underdog Value Ticket. And Ross is 8-4-1 in the last 5 betting days. So that's not only productive, that is profitable. So my hat is off to you, Ross. And first and foremost, glad to have you back. Hope you're having a good weekend, and let's beat the book. We've got 3 games we're going to talk about, Ross. Let's break down one at a time and start with St. Joe's getting 3.5 points at Rhode Island. So if you will, give us your breakdown, and do you think there's any hidden value in possibly just a money line play on St. Joe's?
I think there's a lot of credence to both. As a matter of fact, this is all about St. Joe's to me. This is a St. Joe's team that's flown under the radar a bit, Mike. I mean, they've won 6 in a row in 13 of their last 14 games. Their only loss in that sequence was a narrow defeat against VCU. As a matter of fact, this is an excellent road team. St. Joe's is 6-0 straight up in ATS in true road games this season. They're the better defensive team, the better rebounding team in this matchup. I'm going to take the Hawks here, plus 3.5 at Rhode Island.
Yeah, I was checking that out as well. 6-0 on the road against the spread. They do bring it. They do have the edge in the defending and the rebounding. So I think that this play not only will be this is my opinion. I don't think it's just going to be an outright win. I think St. Joe's might beat them by 3 or 4. And again, I might be stretching, maybe reaching out on a limb, but I think Rhode Island's got their hands full with this one. Rhode Island's ranked number 105 in the country in shooting percentage, and their leading scorers only shooting 40%. I know you're not a big guy on the individual stats, and I totally respect that, but that shows me that they're not just a consistent scoring team. So what do you think about this guy Miles? He's shooting 53% for St. Joe's. You think he'll be the leader today and bring it?
Yeah, I believe anytime you have a player that's shooting 53% at this juncture of the season, that speaks volumes, and there's a very good chance he's going to have an impact on this game and this result. But, let me go back to what we discussed a couple days ago as far as player stats go. And sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it. And I could see where it would have been offending when I was referring to player stats being irrelevant to me. And Mike brought up a good point. Player stats add up to team stats. Well, when you're handicapping 70 games on a Saturday, folks, I just don't have the time to go through all player stats. And the bottom line is player stats do add up to team stats. So why not work smarter instead of harder? Okay, so that's why I look at team stats and recent team stats. And that's my point there. And it was by no stretch of the imagination any disrespect to anybody, including my man Mike on the other end.
Well, I certainly didn't take it that way, and the way you just broke that down, that explains it, and I respect that because, the slate for college is certainly a lot different than NBA, and it's a lot looser because there's so many games, but, you're right, and if you can work smarter, not harder, that's the ticket for everything, especially when it comes to beating the book. Yeah, this leading scorer, Miles, I had read an article where he was really, really pinpointing this game. He said this win, if we get this win at Rhode Island, it's going to take us to another level, so I know that he's keying in on this game, and it's going to be interesting. Plus, it's going to be a good game as a fan. So you heard it out there, viewers. Go with St. Joe's today, getting 3.5. This is a team 6-0 on the road against the spread against Rhode Island. Ross, now in breaking down number 2, Seton Hall, all right, I had some questions for it, but then I did a little more research with Creighton, and you know what? This might be an under-the-radar play. Seton Hall plus 5 at Creighton, and we know Creighton's coming off of an absolute devastating loss, giving up an 11-point lead with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left and lost at Georgetown. So you think they can't bounce back from this, and if they do, it'll still be enough to cover the points with Seton Hall getting 5.
Well, let's take a look at the entirety of this matchup. First of all, Seton Hall lost to Creighton at home a couple weeks back and probably played one of, if not their worst game of the season. So not only do they have a revenge factor, they have that game lurking in their minds. So I think they're going to bounce back with a huge effort here. This is also a Seton Hall team in their last 5 true road games have covered each one of those and won 3 of them outright. So they're a solid road team. You mentioned and you brought up a great point. You know, Creighton absolutely a meltdown in the final couple of minutes against Georgetown in a game they had that game locked and won. The only team that could have beat them at that point was themselves, and that's exactly what transpired. I just think it's too short of a turnaround. It's only human nature that they're going to have a hard time recovering from that, not only emotionally, but from a confidence standpoint. For that reason, I'm going to take Seton Hall here plus the points over Creighton.
You know, and I like this also, and not just because Seton Hall's coming off that big win against St. John's. I mean, they beat them by, like, it was 79-60. St. John's is not the same team they used to be years past. They're rebuilding. But what I did like was the rebounding advantage they had against St. John's, 44-22. So they're very good under the boards. And the reason I like this play also, Ross, is because that meltdown that Creighton had on the road, that's going to be in their heads. And even though they're back on their home floor, I couldn't have said it any better. The turnaround time is not enough to really get that out completely. So, you know, Coach McDermott, he's got his hands cut out for him with Creighton today on their home floor. Okay, I like it also. Seton +5. And the last one is Providence +2.5 against Georgetown. Again, here's a team that just pulled out a miracle on their home court. Has Providence coming in, and Providence is 5-0 on the road against the spread. I like this play a lot, and I even think Providence is capable of winning it by 5 or more. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I concur. I mean, you got a Providence team. Not only are they 5-0 ATS in true road games, they've also won all 5 of those games outright. So this is an excellent road team. And in addition, this is a Georgetown team. You know, the only thing consistent about Georgetown's performance line this season is their inconsistency. I mean, the bottom line is you're looking at a team that's lost 4 games at home this year. Probably should have been 5 if not for Creighton's meltdown. And some of their losses, you're looking at losing to Radford, North Carolina, Asheville, and Monmouth, all good teams in their conference, but they're far from Power 5 conference teams. And, you know, then you're looking at the fact that this is a Providence team right now. They're number 10 in the country. They're deemed as an underdog. Usually that raises a red flag up for me, but not in this instance. I like the Friars here, plus the 2.5 over Georgetown, Mike.
Yeah, I'm personally putting 2 units on this, and there's several reasons, and you touched on both of them. But Georgetown, that a big emotional win, that can take a lot out of a team as well. All right, they're going to come in, they may be a little drained from that effort, or they might even be full. They might be thinking, okay, a little overconfident, we got this. But Providence, you know, ranked number 10, been a long time. It reminds me a whole lot of when Patino was there. All right, they won on this floor last year by 3, so we know they can get it done. I think with the momentum they have and their focused right now, I think they go in and get an outright win, and I think they get it by 5 or more. So, all right, well, that's 3 breakdowns from 3 winners, and I hope everything comes through and we cash those tickets. St. Joe's, Providence, and Seton Hall from Ross Benjamin. Ross, thanks so much for your time. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Beat the book and come on back with us on Monday.
Well, thank you, Mike, and I look forward to it.